and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Today's video, it's entitled Reading and Channel Resolutions, but to be honest, not all that much has changed since last year's reading and channel resolutions. That's not true. There are a few little bits, but it's more of a sort of like discussion of what to expect of my reading this year and what to expect of the channel this year, and would love to hear what your reading plans are this year. And also, if you've got a booktube channel, link it down below, or just let me know down below, because I really want to get to know a few more booktubers this year. I was talking to Mercedes about this last time I saw her, which I can't remember when that was, November maybe, and saying I just want to discover some more booktubers. So let me know down below if you're a booktuber. I would love to go and look at your channel. But yeah, let's just chat about reading and channel for this year. So we'll start with reading. So as is always the case, do you know what? I'm sat literally, look David, how further from the edge of this seat could I be?
You are on the edge.
Relax, Lauren. So, as is always the case, I haven't set a particular number of books that I would like to read this year. I used to do this always on Goodreads. I don't use Goodreads to log my reading anymore, but I always used to say, oh, 100 books or 150 books, 50 books, things like that. And I've just stopped sort of giving myself a target, because turns out I read more when I'm not obligated to do so. So I will continue to not set a target for this year, but interested to hear if you guys set a target, or if you don't, how do you find you read more? If you set yourself a target, interested to find that out. I'd like to read a few series this year, and actually I'm in the middle of reading one now, and one that I want to read next. Oh no, here it is. Because I've just redone my shelves, guys, everything is exactly where I think it is. So I'd like to get into a few series this year. The first one is one that I've started. I'm currently reading Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. More on this in my wrap-up, but I was very, very, very much enjoying this and enjoying the characters. It's about a woman called Claire, who is on a second honeymoon in Scotland with her husband in 1946, and something happens and she gets transported to 1743. Now, while she's in 1743, it doesn't look as though she's ever going to find her way back to 1946. As a woman in 1743, she doesn't have much power of movement and things like that. And she sort of settles into a life in 1743, gets married to somebody else, and this is sort of like well, there's going to be 10 books in this series. The 9th book has just come out, and apparently she takes about 5 years to write the next one. So there was a chance that I was going to potentially get through this series this year and next year maybe. And like I said, I was very much enjoying it. I was enjoying the sort of like world building of this 1743's Scotland, and the characters and the side characters, and like just setting these little bits. There's a bit in there about witches and a bit in there about sort of like other clans and things like that, and I was thinking this seems to be a really good foundation. And then something happened literally exactly halfway through where I was like, fuck's sake. So this is a spoiler for the book. This does happen halfway through, so if you are planning on reading this book and would like to not have a it's not a massive spoiler, because I've been told when I put it on Instagram, so many people were like, oh yeah, there's loads of that. So here we go. But so Claire's new husband, Jamie, she is told by him to stay in one place whilst the camp is being not even attacked, but like the soldiers, the people who can protect her, have gone off, and she is told by him to stay where she is. She doesn't stay where she is, and as a result of that, she gets captured by the English soldiers, and Jamie has to go and rescue her. Now, after they've been reunited, which is lovely, she's delighted to be reunited with him, and he's risked his life to save her and all sorts. He says, oh right, well, as you disobeyed me because you're my wife, I'm going to have to beat you now. And she thinks it's a joke, and she's like, oh yeah, well, ha ha ha. And he was like, no, 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 seriously. So that happens, which it's 1743. I'm aware that that sort of thing happened then, now, all times, and I'm not averse to reading things like that in books because I know that these things happen. But what I am averse to is the follow-up from this has been like, that's been treated as a bit of like a cheeky little thing he did. Like, she sulks with him for a day, and then he sort of like makes jokes about how he actually quite enjoyed it, and he like damaged her. He whipped her bum so that she could not ride her horse the next day. And it's the illusion of this being cheeky and that being sort of romanticised that I've had an issue with. Apart from that, I've really enjoyed it. So I'm going to continue with this book, finish it, and then I think I will get the second book out. But if there's any more of that, because I guess like they've got to set the scene that this was sort of normal, this was normal behaviour, this is how a man treated his wife in this time. And like I said, I'm not averse to reading about how women were treated at other times, how women are treated now, but it was the romanticising of it that so yeah. I will continue with this book and I will read the second book, but I think past that, if it happens again or if things like that happen again, I won't continue. But aside from that, I've been very much enjoying the series. So that's the first series that I'd like to read this year, probably into next year. Like I said, it's 9 books. This book is massive. I don't know if they're all massive, but this is 859 pages. I'm currently 544 pages through, so I'm only 300-ish pages from the end. But I've been very much enjoying being sort of like immersed in a big chunky thing with lots of characters in, which has been really, really enjoyable. So that's that. And then also the other series I would like to read. Now I've actually read this before. I can't believe how light this book is compared to this one. I don't know what paper they're using, but this is, oh, this is less, I suppose. This is 600 and something pages, 661. This is Daughters of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. There's 3 books in this series. This is the Seven Waters trilogy, and I've read this book before. I read it on my e-reader. I got it out from the library, but I really would like to read this as a hard copy, because when I'm reading on an e-reader, I don't find it very hard to sort of like flick back, and in these big sort of epic books I feel like I need to do that. But we're following Sorka, who is the oldest of 7 children. She is no, sorry, she's not. She's the youngest of 7 children. She's got 6 older brothers, and there's sort of like magic and again, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, and that is sort of like folk tale within this tale and romance and things like that. So I'm looking forward to going back to this and then reading the other 2 in the series. So that I would also like to read at some point this year. Then in terms of readathons that I'll be taking part in, oh, I should say, let me know if you have got any plans to read any series this I haven't even got that. I've acted like that's written down there. Let me know if you've got any plans to read any series this year, because I really would be interested to hear. In terms of readathons, I always take part. So March is always a fantastic reading month for me, and I always really look forward to it because I treat the first half of March as the Irish Readathon, which is a readathon that happens every year, hosted by Leanne and Aoife. I'll link their channels down below. I love sort of, I've got ties with Ireland, I've got friends who live over there, and I'm very interested in their history and their books and their authors and stuff, so I always join in with that, and I always have a lovely time doing that, so I'll definitely be taking part in that. And then the second half of March, roughly about halfway through, the long list for the Women's Prize for Fiction gets announced, which is one of the only literary prizes I actually get actively involved in. And then from that day, and I've been known to like wait up till midnight to film my reaction to the long list or film my live reaction to the long list, and I always get out as many of those books or read as many of those books from the long list as I can. So that's what the sort of second half of March and going into April is dedicated to. Yeah, I love that prize. It's so, I get so excited. I'm just excited thinking about it now. I always do like a sort of predictions of what I think is going to be on the long list and stuff. So yeah, Irish Readathon I'll be taking part in, and I'll be following the Women's Prize. I am thinking of, and I'm in no sort of, I've done no planning for this aside from thought I would like to do that, is I would quite like to host a 90s readathon. I quite enjoy reading books set in the 90s, or like one of my favourite books, Bridget Jones's Diary, that was written in the 90s. So I was thinking maybe I'll do a 90s readathon, but I've done nothing more than think that. So if that's something you might be interested in, then let me know, and I'll pull together some maybe timings that I'm gonna do that. But yeah, let me know if you join in with the Irish Readathon, what readathons you are looking forward to this year. And then just one sort of like last reading project is that I am, every year I do a sort of, so last year, for example, I did June Austen, where I read books by Jane Austen or inspired by Jane Austen, retellings of Jane Austen books. I've done this before. I've done June Eyre, I've done Pride and Prejudice, I did Little Women. Still regret calling it Little Women when Louisa May Alcott's name actually has May in it. But this year I'm doing Augusta Christie. So I'm going to be reading some Agatha Christie books, some books inspired by Agatha Christie. David's nodding along. Is that a much better name than Little Women?
Yeah, that's like a bit clever. I like that one.
Much cleverer.
Yeah.
So in August I'll be reading all sort of mystery books and things like that. I'm looking forward to it. August, well, particularly last year as well, when it's hot, my reading really takes a hit. I find it very hard to concentrate on stuff. And August, well, July and August last year were both very, very hot months. So having that as a sort of like August, looking forward to that very much. So that's happening. And then one other thing I should have mentioned, I suppose, when I was talking about what series I want to read, is I'd like to reread all the Sarah Waters books. So at the end of last year, I read the last Sarah Waters book that I hadn't read, Affinity. Sadly, it's my least favourite Sarah Waters book. But I love all of Sarah Waters' writing, apart from Affinity. And this year I would like to revisit it in audiobook, or if I listened to the audiobook last time, rereading it, or just get back to grips with it. So I put on my TBR for next month, Tipping the Velvet. And I've already got Fingersmith on audio, and I'll definitely re-listen to that. And yeah, I'm going to try and get through all of Sarah Waters' books this year again, but haven't read any of them yet, but we are only in middle of January, so it'll be fine. So that's reading plans. So as I said, interested to hear your reading plans for the year. Let me know. So channel plans, not much is really changing. There is a sort of change from last year, but well, we'll start with that. Is that Vlogmas will be happening this year. So I didn't do Vlogmas last year. Vlogmas, if you're not familiar, is a series of Christmas videos. You do a video every day up until Christmas Eve, just sort of documenting your Christmassy times, which I've always very much enjoyed doing, and I've sort of done it with mixed results because I don't always finish it. Since I ran the channel, which I think this year is 9 years. But last year I didn't do it. Dave and I got married last year. I'm a wife now. And we just knew that on top of Christmas and getting married in December, I should have said I got married in December, and then having like a little mini moon and the setup for that, and I just wasn't going to get time for it. So I quite sensibly, because quite often I'm like, oh no, I'll fit it all in, don't worry. I quite sensibly said, I'm not going to do Vlogmas this year. So Vlogmas will return in 2023, which I'm very, very pleased about, and hopefully you guys will be too. And what with Vlogmas not happening last year, normally I take February off, so I normally have a bit of a break because December is very full on. Not that December wasn't very full on, but I normally take February off. But I'm not doing that this year. So February will be a normal month as normal, and the normal uploading schedule will continue, which is 3 videos a week on a Tuesday, a Thursday and a Sunday. You may not even know that I've got an upload schedule, but every day of those days I put up a video at 6:30 in the morning. If I'm organised, and I have been very organised so far this year, so I've been very good about filming ahead of time. So yeah, that will continue. So 3 videos a week from myself, and then maybe a little cheeky one if the first falls on a day that isn't a Tuesday, Thursday or Sunday, because that's when I put up my TBR on the 1st of each month. The Friday reading vlogs will continue. I've been very, very much enjoying the Friday reading vlogs and love reading your comments and having a little chat in the comments, because they are quite chatty, enjoyable videos. If you haven't seen one, I'll link this year's playlist down below. I think there's only 1 video on there. I'll link the reading vlog from this year down below, but there's a playlist of last year's as well if you'd like to check that out. And yeah, it's just on a Friday, because I've managed to condense my hours and reduce my hours a little bit. I now have Friday off, which I dedicate purely to this YouTube channel and reading, which is lovely. So on a Friday, I have a read, and they're sort of set in quite a nice sort of formula or a rhythm. And we start with me waking up and go and make a cup of tea, and then coming into here and picking the books that I'm going to read. And then there's 2 things that I did all through since I started them in September, whereby I've got, in fact I should probably get it so I can show you. And then I pick a discussion question from these, got so much going on, these lit chat cards which are made by Book Riot, and we have and I ask that at the beginning of the video, and then we answer it I answer it at the end of the video, so it gives me a chance to sort of think about it as the video is going on, and then you guys answer in the comments as well, which is really lovely, and I love reading all of your answers to those questions. So that is something that happens. And then we always end the video on a poem from these collections of books, which are a poem for, so we've already done the autumn one because that autumn's been and gone. A poem for every winter day. These are a collection of poems edited by Ali Aziri, and then once we've gone past February, we'll be into a poem for every spring day. So we always end on a poem, which is just very nice, and like I just sort of like the finality of like, and here's the poem and thank you. But something we've added this year is something that I bought and included in my Christmas gift guide. And it's this Ultimate Reading Challenge book, where there's 25 different reading challenges in here. And I'm going to try and do one of these every time I do a reading vlog. So we've already done one. The one that I opened last week was find and read a book that is much longer than your usual reads. And because I'm reading Diana Gabaldon's Outlander, which is 800 pages, that is much longer. And I actually have... I've taken out, but I got some little bookish stickers to put in the front of a book if I gift a book to someone. So yeah, each week I'm trying to do one of these, which is lovely. So yeah, I absolutely love those Friday reading vlogs, and hopefully you've been enjoying them too. Cozy reading nights will continue. I am aware we've been a bit low on the ground with the old cozy reading nights. I did do a Patreon cozy reading night, Christmas cozy reading night. If you're a Patreon member of mine, no matter what tier you are, you get 2 Patreon cozy reading nights, a summer one and a Christmas one. So that's the one I did in December. But we've got a spring one coming up. That'll be in March. I haven't decided the date of that yet. But I'll probably... Do the clocks go forward in March, David?
Yeah, spring forward, leap back.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if it's in March. I think it's in March. Might do it when the clocks have gone forward, so that it's a bit sort of like brighter, and yeah. So that will be coming up in March. So keep an eye out. I'll announce that on the channel and on Instagram as well. So yeah, so that's sort of like the plans. But I would love to hear also, I know I've been asking you a lot, but I just love a good old chat in the comments. If you've got any ideas of videos that you'd like me to do, or tag videos that you've seen, or if you'd like to see a little bit more of something, or if you'd like to see a bookish recommendation video on a particular theme of books, then do let me know down below, because I love to come up with ideas. But my God, it's quite hard when you're trying to fill 3 videos a week. So that's 3, that's 21 videos a month. So that's quite, at the very least. So yeah, there's a lot of, there is a lot of ideas that I have, but I also would love to hear ideas from you guys, and just want to please you. I just want to please you all. So very interested to hear from that. So those are the reading and channel plans. The last thing I wanted to mention was just if you would like to support this channel going forward in 2023, then would love to have you. So as I mentioned earlier, I do have a Patreon account. There's 3 tiers to the Patreon account. There's the $1 tier where you get access to a secret Instagram account. There's the $5 tier where we do a monthly book club, which I absolutely love. And that runs on the last Sunday of every month. At the moment we are about to read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. That's our January book. And yeah, there's a poll every month of what book you might want to read, and yeah, it's very interactive and I look forward to it every month, so that's lovely. And you also get the Instagram account as well. And then there's a $10 tier where you get the book club, the Instagram account, and then you also get like a little extra Christmas card at Christmas. This year we didn't do Christmas cards because December was so very, very busy. I've set sort of like reading targets and sent them in the post to my $10 Patreons. So those are the tiers, and as I said, whatever tier you're on, you get to join in with the biannual Patreon Cozy Reading Night. I love running Cozy Reading Nights anyway. I run them all through the year on this channel for free, but the Patreon ones are live shows, and they're a little bit quieter because there's not quite as many people joining in, so they're a little bit more chatty, and sort of time allows you to sort of chat amongst yourselves in the comments and to me and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something you'd be interested in. The details are always linked down below, and would love to have you. There's other things down there. There's affiliate links to things like Splosh, to Gousto. If you're thinking of joining Gousto and you want to use an affiliate link, please use mine, because it actually literally puts food on David and I's table. And yeah, there's a few more affiliate links down there. There's also a wish list if you ever like... Again, please don't feel obliged, but there is a wish list down there if you'd like to buy me a little book or something. And then just subscribing, liking, sharing the videos, all of those things cost nothing but mean a lot and really, really help with the channel. So reading and channel resolutions, that are them. Would love to hear your reading resolutions. As I said, if you've got a YouTube channel, please let me know down below in the comments, and I'll see you all again soon for another booktube video. I think it's going to be a Friday reading vlog for the next one, so enjoy that.